Hey guys, what is up? Plastic Guy here, coming back with another NECA figure review, and today we're going to take a look at NECA's take on King Kong. This King Kong figure looks fantastic. I really like this look. I think it looks a bit old. It reminds me of more of the original movie. I don't know if it is specifically based on the original movie. I did look it up. I couldn't get a firm answer, and as we'll see in a minute, there is no description on the box, but it definitely doesn't look like it's from the Peter Jackson film or the new Kong Skull Island, anything like that. When I did do the read-ups, it just said it was NECA's original take on King Kong. So here we go. Here is Kong, and I'm excited to take a closer look at this figure. Looking at the box, at the top we've got King Kong, and throughout the box we see this jungle background. We've got NECA here, image of King Kong himself, King Kong again in big letters, and then on this side, this is my favourite side, this looks mean, King Kong with that fierce looking image, and then on the other side we have King Kong with this head sculpt, and I'm really curious to see what this head sculpt looks like out of the box. Up front, it looks a bit goofy to me, but let's take a closer look when he's out of the box and judge then. More King Kong, product image here, really like this pose right there, and then more at the bottom. Includes interchangeable head and hands, and then you've just got the designers and things at the bottom of the box. As I said, there is no description of the character, of the figure on the back like we normally get with these Ultimate figures, and I think that's a bit weird. I'm really surprised that there is nothing there. Opening the box up, we have the classic NECA window display where you can have your figure sitting in there like so. I think that looks great. As I always say, this is how I display most of my NECA figures. And you've got an art piece here, another product image, and I think once again that looks fantastic. So let's get King Kong out of his box, let's get a closer look at him and see what's going on. And here we have King Kong out of the box. He looks great. I mean, he's really well textured straight away when I'm feeling him, getting him out of the box. I like the hands and the head here. We'll get a closer look at them. And I will say my first impressions of this head sculpt when he's out of the box doesn't look as goofy as I thought it would, but here is the alternative head first of all, and that just looks so ferocious, so mean. Looks like Kong is ready to do some damage. This is definitely my favourite head sculpt, and yeah, you can just see the sculpt in the mouth, all that detailed paint in the mouth. I think this looks fantastic. I really like that interior of the mouth, the gums at the top, the tongue. That really looks great. Really like the eyes as well. I think the eyes look really nice. And then you've also just got those wee details like the scars and things. I think it really looks fantastic, and I do love the texturing on the sculpt, just giving that kind of fur and the hair, just bringing that to life really. So we'll see what that looks like on the figure later on. I am dreading going over the articulation on this guy because straight away his joints are so stiff. Probably the most stiff I've ever experienced on an action figure, but we'll get there in the end. Let's look at these hands. So this is his right hand, and it's more of an open kind of grabby hand here. He's got the fisted one slotted in at the moment. But yeah, like this, I think it looks cool. Glad we get some different hands, and this is just the same but for his left arm. So let's take a closer look at Kong himself. Here is the head sculpt, and I was really worried about this. I mean, looking at the box and other images I'd seen, I thought it looked insanely goofy. I thought it looked really bad. I mean, not necessarily bad, but it just looked really like Once again, what figure was it we looked at recently on the channel? And it was the Beast figure, the Beast Marvel Legends, the retro Marvel Legends Beast figure. That head sculpt looked really goofy. I thought this had very similar vibes. But now that he's out of the box, I do really like it. The eyes, you might be able to make out, they have this pinky purple shine to them. And I think that's really cool. Once again, the mouth really detailed. Really like that. And then it's more easy to make out the damage on the head sculpt with this one. Like the scars we have here and then on the side. I think it's really good, and I'm glad that we do get the choice between these two head sculpts. Looking more at the figure, chest area's got a lot of scarring going on, and I think that looks really cool. I love a battle damage figure, and this figure seems to have a decent amount of battle damage. More like blood running through here. I think the feet look great. I just think the sculpt overall, the way that the fur and the hair all over him, it really pops. I think the texture to the figure and everything just looks really great. Here's his arms and his fisted hands. Get kind of Sasquatch vibes from this guy. I really like this Kong look. I'd much rather have this looking Kong than an updated, newer version. But that's just me personally. Back of the figure looks good. So yeah, nothing really more to say there. I think first impressions, the sculpt's great and it's got some great painted detail on there as well. Let's just swap the heads over and let's see what that other look looks like. And here we have Kong with the head swapped over. I did keep those fisted hands in because I do prefer that look. Definitely a more fight ready Kong look. But yeah, much prefer the figure with this head sculpt. But as I said, I really do like the other head sculpt and it doesn't look as goofy as I thought it would. This one certainly looks as ferocious as I thought it would, and that's why this head sculpt is my favourite of the two. Just other feelings for this figure, I mean it is a beast of a figure, it's massive. I don't have any other monster NECA figures. I really wish I had a Godzilla or something that I could pose this Kong next to and we could compare. Sadly I don't, but what I will do is grab some other NECA figures and see what they look like next to Mr. Kong here. So I recently looked at the Jason from part 6, Friday the 13th, and I put this Michael Myers figure next to Jason and we could see that Michael Myers was towering over him. Here Michael is standing at the same height as Kong here. I mean, it just shows how massive this Michael Myers figure really is, that he's supposedly the same height as King Kong. But yeah, this is certainly the other biggest NECA figure I have, or tallest anyway, and you can see that he is standing at the same height as Kong. And here is Kong next to the smallest NECA figure I have. It is the ultimate Chucky figure. And yeah, you can just see that he is minuscule. He is the size of Kong's leg. And here is the NECA Part 4 Jason. I thought he'd be a more average height. And as you can see, he is just a wee bit smaller than Kong. I don't know, looking at these figures next to Kong, I do wish he was that bit taller, maybe that bit bigger. He's supposed to be a massive monster like gorilla. But I still do really like the figure nonetheless. And here is what I've been dreading, the articulation. As I said, the joints on this guy are super stiff, but let's give it our best shot. The head also might pop off. I didn't mention swapping these heads over. Really easy to take the first one off. Crazy hard to get this one on. I mean, I had to use Kong's strength to get this one on. But once again, we'll see how it goes. Kong's head can move that far up. So you can get him looking a fair bit up the way, which is really good. And don't do that, nearly just put his tooth right through my finger. And you can look that far down, which is pretty much just straight on, which I did like. That's how I was posing him before. Here we go. Here's the stiffness in the arms. His arm is going to move that far up. I don't feel comfortable trying to move it any further than that. So you get it at about a right angle. He's got a bicep swivel here, and he's got a double jointed elbow, so you can get the arm moving that far in, which I think is great. Just moving this arm back down into a more neutral pose here. The articulation is just the same here in this arm. You can move the wrists about, so you can rotate them around and move them backwards and forwards. Once again, they are just a bit stiff, but you can see that movement there. And of course, you can swap those hands out. He's got this bit just below his chest area, so you can rotate that right around. Good range of movement here, just below the chest. And the legs, they can kick that far forward. I think it's funny, it looks like he's got wee small legs, but he can kick that far forward, get him kicking that far back. He's once again got double jointed knees, so you can get his foot moving. Let's see, about that far back there. I think that looks great. Get him in a good running pose. And just moving this back down, we can take a look at the feet, which do move backwards and forwards. It's hard moving it without moving this kind of calf piece with that double jointed articulation there, but they do move backwards and forwards, and they do pivot, which is really good and helpful trying to get them to stand up. So there we go, guys, that's about it for this King Kong figure, and overall I'm really happy with it. This NECA figure is a fair bit cheaper than the regular Ultimate releases, so you're not paying too much money for it. And with it comes a set of interchangeable hands and an interchangeable head. I don't think in terms of accessories we do require much more than that, especially at the price point. And as I've kind of went over, the sculpt is fantastic. The paint's fantastic. I really like the battle damage. I really like this, just, oh man, this head sculpt is amazing. I took a look close in the mouth and looking at, you know, details such as the tongue and the gums, those teeth. Oh man, it looks amazing. Before I even opened the figure out of the box, I thought my main gripe was going to be that other head sculpt. I thought it looked really goofy, but once it got out of the box, it looks fine. It's just a more relaxed head sculpt as opposed to this angry, ready to clobber some folk up Kong. If you're a fan of King Kong, I definitely recommend picking this figure up. I'm going to leave the link to my Instagram down in the description below, where I'll probably post some pictures of Kong up just now. I post pictures of my collection up there every day, so if you want to hop on over there and check that out. And while you're down there, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button and smash that subscribe button for future videos on figures like these. It would really help the channel out a lot, and I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the flip-flop later. Cheers.